Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues. With this video, I'll be discussing my thoughts on the Doctor Who Series 8 finale, Death in Heaven. And it's somewhat of an emotional episode for me. Bittersweet, definitely, tugging at the heartstrings, and in a very multi-generational way. That is to say, not just relating to the currently unfolding plot, but I mean, calling back on things from Doctor Who yesteryear that really just, I was welling up with tears several times in this episode. Of course, the inclusion of Unit, calling back on that. We had the Master involved, Missy, this new persona, and we're seeing characters that are dying left and right, some of them question marks and, that kind of thing, but basically beginning with Clara very much doing this thing that she has learned to do so very well with this modern incarnation of the Doctor, lying to Cybermen, taking on his persona, and revealing a lot of the personal details and effects of the Doctor, his marriages, his granddaughter and children presumed dead, and all this kind of stuff. I was very compelled by that. Anytime we get the details of the Doctor, or, like in the episode Flatline, looking at the TARDIS and sort of the science behind, if you will, the TARDIS and the shrinking of it and how it can be influenced, all of those kinds of things, sort of tapping into the Doctor Who mythology, if you will. Those are things that I am greatly fascinated by. I always want it to remain somewhat in a mystery, but at the same time, whenever they start to reveal and hint at it, it's just very compelling to me. And of course, this idea that because Unit was involved and kind of saw this coming, they make the Doctor the Earth's president, the last thing he would ever really want to be, but it's all on his shoulders, essentially. And I thought Peter Capaldi, once again, nailed it out of the park. Excellent Doctor, this guy. Of course, I was really sad to see, as this, whole plot of Missy's unfolded, Osgood had to be sacrificed. I loved Osgood from the Day of the Doctor, and I really want to see her character come back. At first, I thought, when they were in the cemetery toward the end of the episode, I thought it was Osgood that may have saved Kate Stewart, but of course, referencing Nick Courtney and referencing Alistair Gordon Lethbridge-Stewart just brought tears to my eyes. And that moment in the end where the Doctor salutes him, I felt like that was something not just within the show. The Doctor supporting someone he used to admire and worked with. I felt that was Peter Capaldi. That was Stephen Moffat showing love to the man who came from the era once before. Of course, John Pertwee era, and we did get even Patrick Troughton. But I mean, just that whole era, that whole dynamic of the Third Doctor and the Master and Unit and everything, that was so much prevalent in this episode, of course. And then toward the end, Missy's supposed death, although that energy blast she was kind of sucked into or disintegrated with was not orange, it was blue, which tells me teleport, but I mean, that's my assumption. It seemed like the Doctor was kind of taken aback by that, momentarily as well. And the idea that she lied to him. No, Gallifrey, his just remorse and almost destroying the TARDIS console, absolutely compelling. And, of course, in the aftermath, I have to just kind of go by bullet points in this episode, but in the aftermath, Danny, the soldier who killed a child in battle, sends that child back, gives him his life back, losing everything in the fold. And of course, Clara lies to the Doctor, lies to him, and their hug, it feels like this is the end of Clara's journey. I feel like we're not going to have any more Clara in this series. And while on the one hand, I really want to see Clara come back, I really would like to see her on further adventures, I feel like this is, that same kind of scenario with where the 11th Doctor had left Amy and Rory before the start of Series 7, and he eventually went back and picked them up again, and they went on further adventures, and I felt like a lot of that was contrived. I feel like this feels like the natural closing point for Clara and the Doctor. Their relationship, she looks at the TARDIS, and she says to herself, never again. So, as much as I wish Clara would not be gone forever, I think for the time being, this is probably the closure her character needs, given the circumstances. And of course, moving onward from here, we're talking about Christmas, we're talking about jolly old Saint Nick, being involved. I think the actor being named Nick Frost is quite apropos to the character, but that's going to be mind-boggling, sort of hopefully a little bit more lighthearted Christmas episode, Christmas special, if you will, because this one was properly dark and properly emotional. The idea of the dead rising through all generations, going as far back as the dawn of this conception of an afterlife, and I'm sure Amy and Rory, speaking of which, were probably among the cyberized, foes, tentative foes in this particular finale. And it amazed me. It felt like a big budget film to watch for me personally, and just everything that I could have wanted out of a finale. Feeling emotions, being able to laugh, the whimsy of Missy. There are certain points where she basically tells Osgood, I'm going to kill you in a minute. And, you kind of believe it, but you're like, is she just messing around? And then she carries it through. And there are so many moments where Michelle Gomez's Missy is like, she delivers her line, and you're just not sure what the hell to make of it. Is she going to follow through? Is she pulling the wool over the doctor's eyes, or, some of the other characters' eyes, stuff like that. And giving the doctor an army, what better way to insult this man who wants nothing to do from his childhood to do with the military, to do with the militaristic mindset. He escaped Gallifrey, he ran away, stole a TARDIS to get away from this militant sort of aspect of the Gallifreyan culture. At least that's what significantly is hinted all throughout this particular series, and that's the greatest insult to him. That's the greatest jibe to get at him in Missy's case, is to make him the leader of an entire army and all this stuff. And so it was compelling. It rocked my world. Of course, seeing Danny's last sacrificial act, a very similar sacrificial act by, of course, the Brigadier, and just what else can I say? It touched me on multi-fandom levels within the confines of Doctor Who, the modern series, the classic series. Missy saying, my giddy aunt. Oh, my giddy aunt, Patrick Troughton reference. Loved it. Loved it. And it's going to be a hell of a wait until this series is released on DVD, so I can watch it all again. Many, many thanks to my good friend Howard, who made it possible for me to check every single episode of Series 8 out, and love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you thought of the Doctor Who Series 8 finale, Death in Heaven. If you've seen it, if not, stop everything you're doing, make some time to get it into your time slot and check it out, because wow. And so, yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video and that it finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.